Hello, welcome. I'm sure you'd have listened to Sajith Ji singing. His style of rendition, his captivating voice, his deep involvement while singing. It's surprising that he embraced music after a gap of 30 years. He's a successful entrepreneur and a music composer. It's a dream life to be a successful entrepreneur and to follow a passion that you have been carrying throughout. Let's listen to Sajith Ji. Welcome, Sajith Ji.
Morning.
So, Sajid, I would like to keep this as an inspirational conversation, as most of my videos have been. So, you took a break of nearly 30 years, and now you are a successful entrepreneur. What made you think that you should come back? What is the spark for coming back?
In our days when we were growing up, we all had that pressure on us. You need to start earning at some level and things like that. So, music as a career at that point of time looked very scary. Then I went in for my engineering, and somewhere along that route, I realized maybe working in a company also could be difficult for me because of my own idiosyncrasies or whatever you want to call it. So I said towards the end of my engineering, I decided I'll work in a very small company, gain as much experience as possible or at their cost, because then we can make mistakes at someone else's cost and learn from there. So I joined a Hyderabad-based software development company those days. I mean, that was just a time when Mr. Premji decided to invest in IT. So that was the kind of time frame at that. Infosys wasn't even there. So we were selling solutions for CAD/CAM application. So I was a mechanical engineer. So and I got into sales from it. So at some point of time, we had developed a solution for desktop publishing, what you call as DTP today. And that was just innovation days. Apple had some solution, and you had IBM-based solutions coming from companies like us. And that gave me some exposure into the world of publishing. So I interacted with newspaper companies. I worked in Kerala quite some time those days, working with newspapers like mathamgi, Kerala Kaumudi, and things like that. So we brought in a paradigm shift in the way typesetting was done. It was at our days, it was done using something called as photo composing. A lot of manual work was involved in that, very expensive. You needed to use, bromides for taking a printout. Something. So that changed with the introduction of desktop publishing, and it also gave me a glimpse on publishing books and things like that. So we decided that this is something which is likely to live for long, irrespective of depressions or challenges in economy or anything, because books need to be read or books needs to be used as tools for education. So that's the reason why I had a partner at that point of time. We teamed up and then made machines for bookbinding. So we had printing machines, we had other solutions already available from countries like Germany or Switzerland, but bookbinding was mainly a manual job, like a cobbler sewing shoes or repairing shoes. You used to have those traditional small bookbinder shoes. So we moved them into automation. So that is, and then I moved into Mumbai because Delhi and Mumbai were the large publishing centers. Kerala was a very small town. So we used to make machines in Kerala those days. And we moved there and then built up a sales and service establishment. So that is how the entrepreneurship journey. So there was a conscious decision to get into entrepreneurship. Be on your own, have your own business. So there's a lot of objections from home. We belong to a family of teachers. So for us, anybody in business is, sort of looked on, and it's not a positive thing for somebody to do. Till I lost my mom few months back. She used to keep on saying, you should have taken that job you got in Cochin refineries. Why did you go and start your own business? So that's the way businesses look at probably from a. So that took a lot of time and that needed a lot of focus. And though I could continue music in my days in Warangal because it's in Andhra, and Andhra has all these great poets and composers and things. So I used to have some college or university competitions and things like that. I used to take part in them, and then there were concerts given in and around that place. So since it was all Carnatic music, there was nothing light music about it, and I used to sing some few Telugu songs. That was it about. And then I left that, got into business, and was on that run, and somewhere music took a real backseat. So, and I was telling, for those 30 years, only Connect was sometimes listening to some of my favorite Carnatic musicians like M.D. Ramnath, and I did not know what is happening in the music world in 30 years. My brothers used to, and both my elder brothers used to be a little bit more touched. Eldest brother used to, go for concerts. So he used to keep telling me, listen to him. And, then it went on, and then I turned. So I used to have conversations with my dad on it. He was not very happy that I left music because though he was happy that I was making progress in my career, he was a professor in zoology, but he was a professor in M. Induchudam. So he was solely responsible for me starting to learn this. So he wasn't very happy that I had left it. So he used to keep on telling me, "Are you listening to songs?" So that wasn't her. And another thing which I realized, whether it's about writing or painting or anything, music also. I mean, if you want to sing, you need to listen more than what you actually practice. So you need to be continuously listening, continuously keeping in touch with what's happening in the music world. I did not have time to. I mean, really did not have time. I used to travel at least 15 days in a month. I mean, there were those entrepreneurial struggles, and after some time, then you have too much at stake, so then you again travel more. So that continued till about when I turned 50, I think 51 or something. At the point of time, I started realizing there's something missing in life. So your kids are on their way to good career, business is okay, and you have colleagues who will support you. So that also made a lot of difference. I mean, that could run without my personal attention on everything. And we had ventured out into a different field, which is end of the line packaging. So we thought, books would decline, and at some point of time, we need to make our switch. But both these businesses are growing, and we have a good team. So I'm currently in Bangalore. We have factories in Bangalore, and both these things are managed well by my colleagues, and they give me space to, follow my passion. I would not call it as passion, and that also I think is one of the reasons why I left it. It is like an addiction. So when you get into something as that, then you are always thinking in that kind of what to do next, what are you learning to. And then I started learning from a guru again. So I had a guru, Sri Ochira Balakrishnan, during my school days. And then at the age of 51, I became the youngest disciple of my current guru, Srimati Radha Nambudiri. So she has been a great inspiration. She's again a Malayali. She belongs to the Shemangudis direct disciple, and she's Sangeeta Kalacharya awardee from Madras Music Academy. She's been a performing artist during her young days, and then she became the director of Doordarshan and got into the government stream of things, and then could not perform because of official obligations. And after retirement, she became the principal of Music Academy in Shanmugananda. And then she started taking students, and it's difficult to get a really good guru in a place like Mumbai is very difficult. So I had used all my connections, friends, everything to get back. She made a lot of difference in the way I was thinking or looking at music, and helped me shed all my inhibitions. She said, you become that small child who learned Sapasa in the beginning. Don't think that you knew something or you had learned something. That will always keep you in that kind of thing. And sing for yourself. I mean, you understand, learn, and then that was a great lesson. That's where you start not bothering about what others say or what others would feel, and be honest to yourself. And whatever you do, and if you are not enjoying, don't even present it to somebody. So that's the journey. So yes, 30 years of hardly singing even in bathrooms.
That's wonderful. I think this would inspire many people who would want to pursue music.
മ്യൂസിക് മുംബൈക്ക് വേണ്ടി ഞങ്ങൾ കമ്പോസ് ചെയ്ത മുരളീകൃഷ്ണൻ വരികൾ എഴുതി ഞാൻ സംഗീതം പകർന്ന് കുറച്ച് ഗാനങ്ങളിലൂടെ കുറച്ച് വരികൾ പാടാം. അതിലൊന്ന് ഒരു പദത്തിൻ്റെ രീതിയിൽ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്തെടുത്ത ഗാനമാണ്. രാവിനെ പ്രിയതരമാക്കിയതെന്തിനു രാധികേ രാഗലോലേ രാവിനെ പ്രിയതരമാക്കിയതെന്തിനു രാധികേ രാഗലോലേ മാരുതകര വിരുതു വിടർത്തും ബന്ധുരമൊരു പൂവുടൽ പോലെ മാരതൂ ചില്ലക ദൂരെ നിലാവു കൂടി ചാടി രമിക്കും രാവിനെ പ്രിയതരമാക്കിയതെന്തിനു രാധികേ രാഗലോലേ.
Sanjay, as a businessman, you could provide employment to many people. As a musician, music is something more self-gratifying. In the process, do you see any other dimension to music?
So when I sing a song which is composed for a movie in the past, typically the Malayalam songs and sometimes Hindi songs, and try and understand the meaning of the song, how the composer saw it, and how it was presented. Not so much what was done in the movie, because some of these old movies, the songs are fantastic and the scenes are so there is some interpretational changes which I only do, which could be slightly different tones, different what we call as nuances coming in, which is entirely based on the bhava. And it's a very conscious approach where I feel the song is about love, or is it about sadness, or it's about losing somebody. So trying to exaggerate it a bit. So it's like I think music is also a part of abhinaya, where unless you feel about what is the word meaning, what is the song's meaning, and then you try and act it out in your mind, it is difficult to bring out that power. So if I do it in that fashion, then I'm able to present it in a different fashion. It's an interpretation which I like, and a few of the people who like my type of songs like it. So it's a very what do you call, a very exclusive kind of it's not the whole public. They will say that either I'm creating a lot of faces while singing, or or I'm changing the song which was not meant to be. So I'm taking a freedom there, with all due respect to the creators of those songs. And I also feel that some of these creators would have done it in that fashion, because whenever you listen to any of these music directors sing the same song, it's a different version. And typical example is MS Babuka's own rendition of his songs, and what Dasetan presents in a movie is different. And that the reason there could be that movie has a format where it has to be finished within, let's say, 3 minutes and 30 seconds or whatever it is. Whereas when you're singing it live or on an unplugged manner, there is no restrictions. And whenever so whenever you create a song, so I try and do the same in terms of discussions with the lyricists, understanding what was the, it's not just the meaning of the words, what made them write that song. So that is very important. Somebody will come back and say, I just came out of, that is also fine. But someone says it is about my life in Mumbai, if it's about my life in, let's say, some small town in Thiru, in Kerala, whatever it is. So there is some associated visuals and theatrics and bhava related to that. So you try and bring it out in your this thing, which could be the only way of composing. Which it can't be just some tune, and sometimes you create a tune and the lyricist writes onto it. There you tell that this is what I'm looking at. So when I made a song, Pularolil Oru Kilimagal, so I just gave him the tune. I said then it has to be something to do with nature, birds. So that is a feeling I get, and I'm hearing a sound of a bird or something. So then the poet writes into that. So both these things are the things, and then you have a very important role of background music coming into this. It should neither be very noisy, but it also should be something which lifts up. So very recent song which we did was for Onam, when I made a song, Malayalam song, based on rag called as Madhyamavati, and it was done in a very classical style, in a genre of in a what we call as Padhandaram. It's a pedagogy of teaching which is followed my guru, and I've used some phrases to create that song, but then it looks classical. So some of the comments, like my immediate friends who came back and said, for Onam we need something, celebratory. It should not be classical. So I said I'll try and make that celebratory thing using instruments. Then we spoke to players of Mira, Uduk, Pullom, Param, and all those things, and we created an ensemble of all these instruments together and creating a mood. Whether it is creating that mood in everyone's mind, I am sure it's not. So, but is it giving you enough pleasure? So you need to be honest with, so whether it is business, whether it is music, whatever you're creating, you should be convinced about it and you should be honest to yourself. You're not doing it for anyone. So in my case, at least, I'm not creating a song for somebody. I mean, I'm creating it for myself. And I'm sure there will be some more people who would love it, maybe because it connects something which is connecting with me. So there's nothing like we are all from the same background or we have all lived in the same period. There's a small, I mean, I keep getting some of those, which are my most precious, some small kids listening to these songs and then, dancing and repeating those words, very small kids. I mean, so there's nothing like I lived in a time and then, and if I sing the same thing to my own daughter, she might say that, no, it is sounding very old. So there's no explanation for that. The only thing you can do is you can be honest. Whether it is in business, whether you're doing a product, you're creating a song, you need to be honest to yourself. But in business, you need to be very commercial oriented, whether in terms of whether it's actually giving a return on investment for your customer. More than you should put your customer first. So we have everything related to the customer from the very beginning. When we had one machine sold in Delhi, we put an engineer there so that the customer doesn't face any problem. So these are the kind of, so if it's making an economic sense to the customer, finally it will make sense to us. So that's the road we take. But in music, that's not being at least looked at. We have created this YouTube channel called as Music Ahead. I mean, I and Murali, the lyricist of most of my songs, both of us are based in Mumbai also. The idea is create a platform at some level which could be where music independent of cinema could be built up. We have a very strong culture of music being associated with cinema. But we grew up in a period where we had a lot of independent music labels, which used to create music for music's sake, which was like Daset and Sarangini. And then we have this huge institution called as All India Radio. We don't see those things happening now. We see more of more of reality shows related to competitive kind of music. There's nothing about a learning there. Whereas in the old days, it was more about, Lalita Sangeeta, M.G. Radhakrishnan sir, and they were teaching us how to sing. I'm not sure whether we have those kind of programs anymore. But it's more of that teaching and competition is now clubbed together. I think it's not very favorable for an artist to grow. So that's what my take on whether it's creating music or on creating a product.
മരനിരയെല്ലാം കരിഞ്ഞൊരി തീരത്ത് വരളുന്ന ചുണ്ടുമായി നിൽക്കേ ഉരുകുമീ മെയ് മാസ നാളിലേക്കെന്തിന് മധുരം പകർന്നു നീ വന്നു മധുരം പകർന്നു നീ വന്നു.